I hope this is working. We're just gonna do a quick check. Can everyone uh, hear me? Yep. Okay. And in the chat, if you guys could tell me, we'll. Excellent. All right. So, Carol, you here. You're kind of busying yourself. Today is a big day. Today is the day that you are going to finally rent out the rooms in this very large mansion that you had recently acquired. What are you doing right now, kind of as you get ready, as you prepare for your new tenants?
Well, she's kind of puttering around in the kitchen, trying to, tidying things up, making sure everything is, put away. It's all clean. That the first impressions of the place is good. She's running around through the rooms, making sure, all the areas are ready for the guests, her new roommates. Kind of just basically trying to keep occupied so she's not really thinking too much until people come here.
You hear a knock, the doorbell ring. And upon opening it, you see the onslaught of rain coming down. Thankfully, though, you have a wraparound porch and it is covering a lot of the rain, but you see little tiny droplets just coming through little cracks in the wood. Ezra, you are soaking wet from this rain. You might have brought a jacket, you might have brought an umbrella, but it doesn't seem to have done anything. Explain, just kind of describe what Ezra is looking like. How does he respond when Carol opens the door?
So Carol would see this tall, gangly young man. He almost looks like some kind of wading bird. He's just all elbows and knees and sort of this unkempt, short brown beard, wide brown eyes behind these very thick glasses, short brown hair. He is wearing like a hoodie and some blue jeans, essentially, and boots. But he is absolutely soaked. He looks like a drowned dog of some kind. And he smiles at you nervously, Carol, and says, "Hey, I'm here for the room. Professor Gaskins sent me, and you would know that he's a teacher's assistant over at the local community college for the professor of history there, and he's been sent to rent out a room here almost as like an assignment, essentially, because there's a lot of history in this mansion." But he smiles at you nervously and kind of sticks out a hand.
She reaches out and clasps his hand and is like, "Oh, you must be Ezra. Come in." And she goes to help grab your bags. And come in. You're soaked. Let's get you in out of the rain.
Thank you. And he kind of hands you this just like disgusting looking like red duffel bag. Maybe it had like some kind of logo on it at one point, but it's peeling off. It's in really bad shape. He just sort of shuffles in, leaving this trail of water behind him as he comes into the foyer.
So she would lead you to one of the first rooms, basically chatting the entire time, kind of nervously a little bit, leading you towards the first room and then telling you, the linens are in this closet. You can go dry yourself. Bathrooms down the hall. Make yourself at home. This is your home now.
And Ezra would sort of nervously nod and just say, "Thank you, Miss. Is it Friesen? How do you pronounce that last name?" Friesen. Thank you, Miss Friesen. I appreciate it. I'll go ahead and get these clothes off, I guess." And he just kind of waits for you to leave and then just very slowly closes the door behind you.
You hear suddenly another doorbell ringing. And as you kind of hurry down to answer the next, Jake, what does Carol see when she opens the door?
Command Sergeant Major Reginald T. Cherry, ma'am, is how he immediately greets her. He is about 6'2" and appears to be built out of iron and concrete. Very chiseled, muscular features. Not overly muscular, just very lean and a little bit barrel-chested. He's wearing soaking wet civilian clothes, but he carries an OD green standard Army issue duffel bag over his shoulder, and he practically stands at attention. The rain is beating up on his salt and pepper gray crew cut. He has he is very clean shaven, and the rain pours down his face, but he makes no move to wipe it away. He doesn't seem to be bothered by the fact that he's soaking wet.
And as she opens the door and she's greeted with this huge man, she's a little bit shocked and taken back, and she's like, looks up and like, oh, hello, please come in.
Thank you, ma'am. Step in and looks to the floor mat and kind of stomps his feet a couple times, and you just see the water just kind of bead a little bit and come off as he, holding his bag out near the door, pulls it off his shoulder and just gives it a quick, firm shake, and then allows just enough room for you to close the door as he stands there.
And she turns and looks, your room is going to be the last one on the right. Help yourself. If you need anything, just let me know. The bathroom's on the left. She kind of gives him the tour a little bit of where the kitchen is and the bathroom, but she's a little bit stunned. This guy is way bigger of a presence than she kind of thought he would be from all the correspondence. But she kind of taken in stride and just sending him on down.
Man, if you don't mind, I'd like to use the latrine. The restroom to dry off a bit. If you've got some clean towels in there, I'd just as soon not track water all over your fine establishment here.
Oh, yes, of course. And she goes to the closet and grabs you a towel, hands it to you, and then shows you to the restroom.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And I would disappear into the bathroom to towel off and change into dry clothes.
And as you guys kind of get settled down and kind of look around this mansion, it's kind of difficult to believe that this kind of building was placed where it is in the city that it's in. It's not that far out in the outskirts, but it looks like it's a million miles away from any sort of civilization. There is a clean quaintness to it, with everything seeming like it's an antique, with the exception, and Carol, when you first moved in, you noticed this, the floorboards were all brand new hardwood. And since you didn't really get a chance to speak to the previous owner, this was of course a foreclosure sale. That's why you got it for such a steal. You just kind of went along with it. Hey, new floors, that's not bad, but they do kind of offset that kind of antiqueness to this building. And so what are you doing kind of as these gentlemen are kind of in their room getting ready or preparing or getting comfortable in their new place?
She's actually cleaning up after them. I mean, these are brand new floors. They're now wet, a little bit dirty. So she's taking the time right now to kind of dry them off, clean up a little bit of the mud that's gotten tracked in, and basically make it clean again. Jeez, just a second, I'll be right there.
And you just hear it, and it just keeps going and going and going, and you hear in addition this and this just pounding at the door, doorbell after doorbell, knock after knock, as if someone is desperately trying to get in.
Hold your horses, I'll be right there. Jeez. And she runs to the door as quick as possible and opens it up.
And as you look outside into the rain, there is no one there to greet you on the other side. And as you kind of look, kind of left, right, nothing. No footprints, no shadow ducking in behind, no teenager playing a prank. But as you look down, you see this book. It's not wet, though everything around it is soaked. The wood, the mats, everything. This seems to be in perfect condition. And it looks to be a hardcover children's book. Though the front, it shows this hazy image of some children playing, but there's something off about them. Something that you can't quite put your finger on. And in almost illegible writing on the front, in this gaudy yellow writing, is the people who come after you. What do you do?
So she's looking left and right around, looking for whoever could have left this on the doorstep, and seeing nobody, she cautiously bends down and picks up the book to look at it more closely.
And you see that it is, kind of has a soft cover. It even has one of those little dust covers on the front where the title is. Do you open it up? The book?
Yeah, she looks at the front and the back, turns it around, feels it a little bit, and then, she'll open it up, probably to the very, the cover page.
And on the cover, you see this. And it says, the people who come after you are the people who come after you. There are many other pages in this book, but all of them are blank. These blank, black pages.
So Carol will be spending some time actually flipping through it and looking at this. This is kind of the oddest book she has ever seen. And so she'd be very focused on it at this point.
And you're kind of looking around it, and it just seems like a normal book, with the exception of these blank pages. And that's it. There's no author. There's nothing on the back. Even when you lift up the dust cover, it's just black hardcover.
So kind of after looking at it and really seeing nothing, she's kind of like, this is odd. So she's going to put it down on the kitchen table and just kind of walk away and maybe go hang out in the living room until her roomies are done getting ready.
And do either of you kind of come out of your room? Who would be the first one? And what would you guys be doing?
After getting dried off and changed into a whole new clean set of clothes, I think carefully laying his wet clothing maybe hanging over the shower curtain bar so that it will drip down into the tub very neatly. I will head to my room and I check the contents of my duffel bag, make sure everything is where I want it to be, and I place it securely in a closet in the room. And then I second guess that, and I slide the duffel bag under my bed with the opening facing outward. Though it is closed, it has kind of it folds over, and then it has a little like hook closure. Final look around the room, making sure everything is good. I will leave my room and head into the house proper, just kind of slowly walking through and kind of gauging my surroundings, getting familiar with the place. I've changed into a pair of crisp pressed black slacks, black kind of a boots, but not really boots, something that's comfortable but durable, and a crisp, almost like a Dickies work shirt. It's not a uniform, and it's not a military uniform, but it's as close to a military uniform as I can get without actually wearing a military uniform. And everything is starched and pressed. Crease lines, creases on the pants, neat, straight, the cuffs coming perfectly to the top of the foot. And as I walk, I just slowly walk. I imagine the soles of my boots, while not very hard, they do make a firm sound as my hands are behind my back as I'm maybe stopping and looking at some of the pictures, stop and look at a bookshelf, and make my way. I think I would probably make my way toward the common room or the living room.
And while you're kind of walking and looking at all these pictures, there's one in particular that catches your eye. And at first, you aren't sure why your brain decided to notice this one more than the others. But upon closer look, you recognize this place. You recognize, well, what this place used to look like before the military came in and bombed it. And you see there are children playing. It seems to be such an odd shot for the cameraman or the photographer to have made, because half of the figures are blurred. It seems as though they're just out of focus. And you see the children. You see some elderly women kind of sitting, keeping an eye on them, watching them. And then you blink. And then all of a sudden, you see this horrifying picture before you of carnage, of death, of blood. The children who were playing before are now lying dead. The old women are just ash. And you see there is one child still holding her teddy bear. But as soon as you blink, it's back to that other scene.
As I am looking at this picture, and I imagine my eyes grazing past it to look at some of the other pictures, and just kind of stopping and wait, did I just see what I thought I saw? And then looking closer at it and realizing the thing that's scaring me the most about this picture, that is actually causing beads of sweat to form almost instantly on my forehead, is this still frame of this captured in the moment village with the children in play and the old women watching. It's as if somebody had taken a camera and gone inside my nightmares every night. This is exactly the point of view that I see every night as I lie restless on the verge of wakefulness and sleep. And in a flash, it changes to that scene of hellfire and death. And when that happens, I actually step back and kind of bump into the other wall, the nearby wall. I just kind of maybe I imagine another picture is knocked to the floor, but I don't even hear the sound of it hitting the floor or the glass breaking. And just as quickly, that image is gone. And muttering, Jesus, fuck. What? And then quickly to see if anybody saw. And as I shift my feet, then I hear the crunch of broken glass underfoot. And I pull a handkerchief out of my pocket. I mop my brow. And I immediately get down and start picking up the broken picture, and start trying to put the broken pieces of glass into it. But I keep looking over my shoulder at that picture.
And I'd like you to make a wisdom check, please.
All right, so what do I do?
So you're gonna roll a d20.
Okay, and I have no modifiers in this skill.
Okay, so yeah, then just a straight d20, and let
Okay.
me know what you get.
I'm gonna roll my atcon d20. I shouldn't have done that. That's a 5.
Your mind is reeling from this. Your vision begins to blur. And for an instant, you feel the sharp pain in your chest. And you are going to take 2 points of damage.
I imagine at that same moment that happens, I cut my finger on a piece of the glass that I'm scooping up. All right. We just have the 10 to start, right? Is that correct?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
You have 1 heart, which is 10.
Okay. All right.
Ezra, you hear kind of a crack outside of your room. Sounds like breaking glass and something hitting the wall. What do you do?
So I think by this point, Ezra has done what he almost always does when he enters a room, and he has turned on every lamp, every light switch. This room is just flooded with light. He's gotten out of his damp dark blue hoodie, t-shirt, and jeans to put on another t-shirt, hoodie, and jeans that are not sopping wet from the rain. But he doesn't put on his boots. He just leaves his socks on. he hears this crash just as he's tucking a small pocket knife into his right pocket, and he sort of stops and thinks to himself, don't go there, just let it be. I'm sure it's nothing. You know, you're not the kind of person to respond to strange noises. But then he takes a moment looking around this room. He sort of sighs, shakes his head, and he sort of shuffles out the door, heading towards the source of the noise, looking nervous and kind of skittish, like a cat almost in a new house. I'm assuming he comes upon Mr. Cherry there, picking up pieces of the glass from the broken photo.
Yeah, you do. And Reginald, you see Ezra kind of come out as you're trying to pick up this glass from this fallen picture frame.
There's a moment, I think for just a moment, Ezra, you would see as I look up at you and you see eyes wide, pupils dilated. You see the sweat on the brow. You see maybe the blood on my finger. But just for a moment, as your presence seems to kind of, at least, if not completely, at least partially, snap me back into reality. And, hey there, son. You mind going and seeing if the and I'm stuttering for you, kind of trying to find the word. I'm flustered. The innkeeper,
Lady,
she's got a broom or something. I bumped into a picture. I knocked it on the ground. I'm just trying to clean it up.
are you? And then he almost sort of realizes after the fact that your hand is bleeding. He's like, oh, yeah, sure. Just give me a second. He kind of shoots you this look, almost like, what the hell is the matter with you? We've only been here for a few minutes, and you've already started breaking things. He sort of shuffles off in the direction of, I guess, probably if we're in sort of the common area, probably towards like the kitchen or even like the front room, just to see where Carol is.
I think he would just almost reflectively snap after you as you're kind of shuffling. He just kind of says, "You need to double time it, boy."
Yeah, I'm not your boy, man. And then he keeps walking.
Yeah, and you find Carol just in the kitchen. This is kind of happening around the same time, Carol, that you were kind of looking at this book, and you don't hear the crash. That's how big this house is. And so, yeah, Ezra, you come in and you see that Carol is kind of looking at this book, kind of perplexed.
And I think for an instant, Ezra almost completely forgets about Reginald and his cut finger when he sees this book. His eyes sort of widen with curiosity and delight, since he is an avid reader. But then he sort of remembers, oh, right, there's a thing I came here to do. And so he would kind of come up to you, Carol, sort of clear his throat and just, hey, Miss Friesen, the other guy, I didn't get his name. He kind of glances over his shoulder, kind of an asshole. He cut his finger. I don't know. Do you have like any bandages or something? I guess he broke a picture or something and cut his finger on the glass.
And Carol, she's actually really focused on this book, and it's like she doesn't even hear you until you say the words, "cut his finger," and she immediately snaps to, and she's like, "I'm sorry, what? Somebody's cut? Where? Show me." And she immediately goes to grab her bag. Yeah,
he's in the, I guess, the common area where all the pictures are and stuff. He's just picking up the pieces from the broken glass.
Yeah, so she would have dropped the book kind of nonchalantly at this point, grabs her bag, and she would head towards where Reginald is.
And Ezra would kind of trail awkwardly behind, shooting one last look at the book, but then following Carol.
And so by this time, Reginald, you've cleaned up most of the glass. You've kind of done the best job that you could You are sure there are still kind of small little fragments in the carpet, but just as Carol and Ezra come in.
Excuse me, ma'am. I must apologize. I knocked one of your pictures on the floor. It broke, and, well, I'm afraid I made a bit of a mess here. I tried to clean it up as best I could. And you would see that I've taken my handkerchief and I've kind of wrapped it tightly around the finger, and I'm just kind of holding it. But white handkerchief, red blood, it's pretty much soaking through, though I make no mention of it.
Yeah, she, at the mention of you breaking something, she's like, "Oh, they weren't mine anyways." And her eyes look straight down at your fingers, and she's like, "Let me see that.
Oh, it ain't nothing, ma'am.
I'll be the judge of that. Show me your finger."
Yes, ma'am. And I carefully unwrap the bloody handkerchief and hold it out to you. And I imagine it's a pretty good gash along the side of my finger.
Yeah. So Carol, at this point, she'd open her bag and she'd grab some sterile pads, and she'd start cleaning you up and looking and assessing the damage. And she'd be kind of muttering under her breath, saying, "Oh, I don't think you need stitches. I think we'll be okay." And she would clean it up and then wrap it as best as she could. She's using a medical bag. Can I do the intelligence roll to heal him?
Yeah, I think you can do an intelligence roll, and I would say it would probably be easy, so I'm going to take 3 off of the room DC.
Oh, I rolled a 20, so that would be 22.
Perfect. So, I can just imagine this is, it's a gash, but it's, not like his finger was chopped off, but the way you expertly just bind his finger and make sure that there is going to be no risk of infection or anything like that ever. So
yeah, it's very professional looking.
And I almost imagine that Ezra, as he watches Carol do this, his mouth kind of falls open. He reach into his jeans, pull out probably this way out of date flip phone kind of thing, and he'd start texting his professor, just be like, "You didn't tell me the landlady was a freaking doctor. She just took care of some guy's hand. This is crazy." Just because he's completely surprised by how professionally and quickly she responded.
And you text your colleagues or whoever, and get a text back. And the text back says, "I want to play hide and go seek." The next text comes in and says, "Would you like to play?"
And I think Ezra, almost in this weird echo of what Reginald did when he saw that picture on the wall, would sort of double take at his phone, sort of rub at the cracked screen with a thumb, and then just sort of look from Carol to Reginald, and then just wordlessly close the phone and put it back in his pocket, wondering what the hell that means, without responding.
So,
meanwhile, I think just as she dressed this up, I think I would just look at her almost amazed. "Ma'am, you got the hands of a field surgeon. I've never seen this kind of work in combat, from combat medics even. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it."
And she would smile at you and say, "Oh, well, thank you. Oh, you take good care of that. It'll heal for you. Just don't be getting it wet right now."
And so you guys clean up, you settle in, and I assume you all want to kind of go into the kitchen common room area, kind of resuming your previous trajectory. Carol, you are still waiting for one person who had responded to your ad. One more room that needed to be filled, but the person doesn't seem to be here quite yet. And you're kind of thinking to yourself, you know, hopefully it's not the rain. You can't afford to pay another month of utilities, even with the 2 others. And Ezra, your phone kind of rings. And it says you have a new message from an unknown caller.
I think Ezra, being a child of the times, would definitely go ahead and open his phone, even just so he can see what the message is. But he would sort of try and like turn away a little from Reginald and Carol.
And on the text, you see this unknown number, and the text says, "You know it's rude not to respond to a question."
And I think he would just sort of mutter to himself, just say, "Prank text bullshit," and he just sort of texts back and just says something to the effect of "piss off," basically, or "wrong number."
Do you... So, your words kind of, are they a little harsh?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think, in fact, he probably just texts back the words "piss off," "wrong number."
And immediately, almost instantly, you get a response. "Noon doesn't like it when you curse."
Noon as in like time of day, noon, Noon.
Yeah, Noon, yeah.
Huh. Hey, Carol, and Ezra would sort of turn to look at you, Carol. Out of curiosity, have you heard anything about, I don't know, any phone database hacks or anything, or any, I don't know if that's a local thing. I'm not super tech savvy, but I don't know, I'm getting some weird texts. I don't know, do you have any experience with phones or anything? This is an old one. He shows you just this like absolutely battered to crap flip phone, like several generations behind. It's just a mess.
She looks at it, she's like, "That thing still works?" But
Yeah.
no, I haven't heard anything. I mean, my phone's fine, I think. And she would look at her phone to see if it's fine.
As you open your phone, you hear and we are going to take just a 2-minute break. We will be right back. you hear the doorbell ring, Carol. But this one, it wasn't like the last. There was no knocking, there was no doorbell ringing over and over again. It was just one ring.
So when she hears that, Carol would actually probably start a little bit. Things are kind of a little bit weird. And she's like, oh, that must be Barrick. He's a little bit late. Let's go get him. And she would run to the door and open it, hoping to see actually a person behind it this time.
I guess that's where I step
Yep.
in. Yeah, okay.
So, sorry,
Just making sure. I didn't want to like throw
No.
the grenade.
No, so Carol opens up the door. Barrick, what does she see?
Right. So Barrick Barton is a rather large man. Definitely like unkept beard. Looks like he has bags under his eyes from not being able to sleep. But he carries a rather large news reporting camera, like on his shoulder. 90% of the time, people have told him, Barrick, you need to get with the times and go with a smaller camera. He's like, nah, I don't need that. I don't need that at all. It's fine. I'm gonna do this the way I want to. And he's basically got like press badges and just all these sorts of things that like adorn him as a news reporter. A kind of slew, like an old dusty jacket that looks like he's been sitting out in rain and, garbage. There are little stains that look like heavy dirt, but you could be a little worried that they're not. And he looks at Carol. I'm sorry, am I interrupting something? I didn't. You just said to come. I came.
So Carol looks him up and down, and she's like, she's got this little bit of a, not quite disgusted look, but this kind of a little bit of a disappointed look in her face. She's like, oh, are you Barrick?
Yes, man, that would be me. Barrick Barton. Nice to meet you. I am a news reporter by charge, and also I heard you were a little worried about this house. Why is that? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, I don't really know the story behind it. Why don't you come in out of the rain? And she kind of backs up a little bit, just enough room for you to get in. And she's kind of eyeing the camera, kind of watching what you're doing with it.
And he's like, if you don't mind, I'm going to set up so that I don't have to carry this around all the time. If you don't mind.
Yeah, and she kind of like, yeah, sure. And she points towards another room towards the front of the house. You can set up over there.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And you see that like along his back, there's this strap that was going along the jacket. It's actually like a tripod that has been like laid over his back. And like he takes the moment to take out the tripod and like lay the heavy camera on the tripod. And he's super fascinated by the house, but also like in a very unsettling fashion. He's like, so how long has this house been here? And do you know anything about this?
And she looks at you actually quite quizzically, and she's like, I don't know, I just bought it, last month. This house is new to me. Do you know more about this house than I do?
Well, that's a good question. Hold on. And he begins to he pulls out from his jacket, he pulls out a notebook. And Megan, would Barrick know anything along the lines of like urban legends or tales or like news report? Would he have like newspaper clippings or news reports about this house in some way, shape, or form?
Yeah, you as you kind of pull out your notebook, you're looking at these news clippings, and you are reminded of how kind of disappointed you were at the lack of gruesome history with this house. You'd think something so old, so ancient looking in appearance would have some secrets, but with the exception of it was in one of the local papers that you found, and you have this clipping that a local kind of millionaire had bought this house, but unfortunately had died of a heart attack in this house.
Okay.
And as you're looking at this newspaper clipping, you blink, and all of a sudden all the words kind of come together, and all you see was just these words of make sure you have the right angle, make sure you have the right angle, make sure you have the right angle, make sure you have the right angle. And it seems to be handwritten. And as you kind of scroll your eyes down, it gets more and more jumbled, more and more frantic, more and more slanted. And you see a picture of a room, but just for a brief instant, and then as soon as you blink again, it's back to that smiling millionaire of an old picture of him when he had first bought the house.
Beric looks along at the picture, and as he blinks and kind of comes to, he sorry, I've been on the road for a long time. You got any coffee in here? Anything to keep me up? Hmm?
And at that, Carol would quickly go into kind of hostess mode, and she would go to the kitchen and start puttering around there making coffee.
While you're doing that, Carol, Ezra, your phone makes another kind of beep. Same unknown text, or same text from an unknown number.
I think being left alone in this area with Reginald, Ezra would just sort of kind of bob his head nervously and start to kind of shuffle off in the direction that Carol went. And as he hears his phone sort of ring or feels it buzz, he pulls out the battered flip phone, flips it open, his eyes narrowing as he looks at whatever new text is being displayed.
And it says, "I'm bored. Let's play. I'm it." And immediately your phone begins, you hear this voice coming from your phone, and it sounds like a small child.
50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45.
So I think everybody in the house may be, I know it's a big house, but most people would probably just hear this loud cry, "Holy shit!" And then you just hear this sound of a phone impacting against the wall as Ezra just screams and throws his phone at the wall, sort of backing up, looking around, utterly terrified and confused, but kind of panicking because that's the kind of person he is. He's skittish as hell. He starts like running full tilt in the direction that Carol kind of vanished in before.
Yes. So, Reginald, you would hear the this weird, distorted girl's voice coming from the cell phone.
44, 43, 42, 41, 40, 30.
And it just keeps counting down.
This is after he smashed it and ran away.
Yeah, it's still counting down.
I think given the incident with the photograph, Reginald is locked in place. Training he's kind of on this precipice of training kicking in when there's a threat to kind of assess and hold your position. But as he's not able to assess any familiarity with the situation, he just reaches into his pocket, listening to this weird voice, and with trembling hands, he lifts a flask.
35, 34, 33, 32,
Oh.
31.
No.
Can we hear that in the other rooms? Like, if we're in another room right now, can we hear that?
How far, you were following Carol, right, Ezra?
Yeah, we're in, or Ezra was.
Ezra was running in the direction that he saw Carol disappear to.
Okay.
Yeah, so you guys would totally hear this.
Oh no. Okay. So like she brings me back the coffee or whatever, and I'm hearing these things. Great. So yeah, Barrick's eyes. He's handed the coffee. He takes it, but he looks dead at Carol.
You're hearing this too, right? It's not just me. Yeah.
25, 24, 23.
Boy, where'd you go?
What is that?
And I think about the time you say, "What is that?" Carol, you would just see Ezra in his socks, just like skidding along on the floor, and he like practically slams into you. He's like, "Oh my God, Miss Friesen, my phone!" And then he sees you, Barrick, who he's not seen before, and he immediately starts fumbling for the pocket knife in his right pocket. He whips it out, pulls out the blade and kind of points at you. He's like, "Who the fuck is this? What the fuck is going on? My phone started counting, and they wanted to play a game. I'm so fucking confused. What is going on right now?"
Hey, man. Hey.
Who the fuck are you?
I was just getting coffee.
Are you Noon? Were you texting?
Ezra,
No.
calm down. This is
I was just
Barrick.
getting coffee.
This is Barrick. He's also a roommate.
Oh, and he kind of looks at you, Barrick, and you realize like Ezra, in a way, with like the grunginess and the beard and just this general unkempt appearance, is like a younger version of you, like in your like mid to late 20s, I guess, Barrick. But he's probably a little taller and scrawnier, and then he sort of lowers the pocket knife, and he's just like, and he looks at you, Carol, and says, "What's going on? My phone started counting. I kept getting these weird texts. Like I told you, someone named Noon was upset at me, and oh shit, I left the other guy in the room in the common area. Should we go get him?"
15, 14, 13, 12.
That's
Oh
yours.
fuck.
It's not. That's not good. Okay.
I think at this point, I'm counting along with it. I haven't left the room. So as it's counting down from 10, I'm standing there with the flask in hand. 9, 8, just counting along with it.
7, 6.
Barrick grabs the camera and runs to the other room, like not in a fear, but literally just to be, I want to catch whatever this is. And yeah, you're gonna hear this. No time. He like lifts the camera up with the tripod and everything and just like moves into the other room as fast as he can, sets it down, and like pops open the viewfinder, hits play, and just sits there watching.
And Ezra would probably look at you, Carol, and just say, who the fuck is that guy?
Eric Barton, nice to meet you.
Yeah, okay. What? And he looks at you again, Carol. What should we do? Should we go back?
3,
And Carol's looking at you, and her eyes are getting wide.
1. Ready or not, here I come.
And then all of a sudden the lights go out and you guys are all plunged into absolute darkness.
Nobody move. Stay where you are.
Carol would have immediately reached out to where she last saw Ezra.
And Carol, I think you would feel like almost a death grip on your hand. You would feel Ezra shaking, and you just hear him muttering, "It's too dark. It's too dark. Where are the lights? It's too dark. It's too dark." And he's just, you can almost feel the tension, the fear radiating off him now that there are no lights on.
So Carol would actually try to fumble for her phone that she had at one point tried to on, and she's going to try to turn it on to get a little bit of a light.
You turn your flashlight on, Carol, and immediately right in front of your face is a face, nose to nose with you.
Carol would scream and drop her phone.
And as you look, you see that it is a cadaver. As you look, and it's almost looked like it's kind of positioned like a mannequin, and it's holding its arms up and its hands in kind of like this pleading way. And it looks at you. It doesn't move. It doesn't do anything. I need you to make a wisdom check, please.
I rolled a nat 1, but I have a bonus of 1.
You take 3 points of damage. As you feel this pain, this sudden excruciating pain in your head just explode, your vision blurs, and you fall. You lose your footing, you lose your knees, and you fall and you lose sight of this cadaver.
Yeah, Carol would immediately fall to the ground, like just, you'd hear this huge thunk, and you'd hear some moaning and words saying, like, "Get it off of me, get it off of me, get it off of me, get it off of me," over and over and over again.
And suddenly the lights turn on. And everything is as it seems, with one exception. Carol's voice was suddenly cut short. And Carol, you find yourself not in the living room where you were, where this phone was. But you kind of feel beneath you, beneath your hands, as you are laying down, you feel this slime, this oil, this just sponginess on the floor. And as you kind of move your fingers, you feel these strands, these long, thin strands. And what are the three of you doing when the light turns back on?
Exactly
So
this.
Ezra was literally holding Carol's hands before she disappeared. So I think he starts to let out this relieved sigh when the lights come back on, but then he stops. Is her phone still on the floor or no?
Yeah. Yeah, her phone is still on the floor, along with your smashed one.
Gotcha. And my phone, Ezra's smashed phone, is not doing anything, correct? It's just destroyed at this point?
Yeah.
As far as you can tell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just looks like...
Carol, Miss Friesen? Hello? And then he sort of, he picks up her phone with these shaking hands and looks at the screen. Is there anything on the screen at all? A text, anything?
Nothing. It is completely smashed. The phone is cracked. You can't turn it on no matter how hard you try.
And so I think Ezra would just sort of, despite the fact that this phone is smashed, would just very gently set the phone back on the ground and just walk out of the room to try and find Barrick and Reginald to tell them what's going on.
Reginald,
We're all in that room, aren't we?
Yeah, you guys are all kind of in the same room.
We're all
Yeah.
in the same room.
Gotcha. Okay, I thought we'd moved into separate rooms. But yeah, so
Yeah.
he would immediately turn to that and be like, what the fuck was that? Where's Miss Friesen? What's going on?
Barrick has seen a lot in his days as a reporter, and so he's scared, but he's definitely trying to not show it as much. He's like,
It's fine. She probably found a place to lie low. It's all right.
That literally makes no sense. I was just holding her hands, and now she's not here, and her phone is on the ground. Where could she have gone that we wouldn't be able to see her?
We're in a large house, right?
Sure.
There's got to be places here that are hidden. Secret passages. It's an old house. I don't doubt that that's possible.
Excuse me. Who
Yes,
the hell
sir.
are you?
Name is Barrick Barton. I'm a news reporter. It's nice to meet you.
Man, Sergeant Major Reginald T. Cherry, retired.
Well, aren't you just
Look,
cherry on a Sunday?
look. I don't
What?
kind of look you up and down, give you the full, all the way, taking in your full rugged and ragged appearance, seeming to linger for a moment on all of the stains and the grime. I don't know where you think this is, but just a moment ago, she was here, and now she's not.
Well, listen.
She cried out right before she was gone. That to me doesn't mean she's hiding.
No,
somewhere.
I understand. Maybe I'm a little bit cynical. All right?
Maybe you're a little bit drunk. You sound like you're drunk. Are you drunk?
Shut up. Yeah, look, just because I have an accent doesn't mean that I'm drunk. That's
No, that's not what I meant. It's just the
That's
way you're
offensive.
talking very sluggishly. I mean, you don't seem startled at all. I mean, Reginald seems startled. I'm startled. I'm
Look,
fucking startled.
Listen, I deal with crime on a regular basis. Right? I deal with this all the time. It's not a big deal.
And Ezra chuckles a little. Is like, wait a second. You deal with crime? What does that even
Yes.
mean?
What that means is I am an investigative reporter.
Oh, okay. And you're
And so
investigating.
I'm not shocked by this. No.
Are telling you that she's hiding.
If you're
I
a
would-
reporter,
Right?
then you are used to research and looking for clues and trying to figure things out before jumping to conclusions. Would that be a correct assessment, Mr.
Right.
Barton?
Yes.
Speak up.
Yes, it would be, sir.
Then why are you assuming she's gone into hiding? Why don't
'Cause
you
I'd
put
like-
those investigative skills of yours to
Fuck me. All right, fine.
You're really bad at this, Mr. Barton. Like,
Fine.
no offense,
You know
but
what?
you're really bad at this.
Shut up. Shut up, you tiny little man. Shut up. All right? I do things my own way, and I deal with it. Now, he takes out the camera, he takes it off the tripod, he leaves the tripod there. He's like, we're going to film this. I'm going to track down whatever this is. I don't know what it is. But I'm eager to find out. And he's almost, it's almost like when you hear those words, it's not in a sensitive fashion. It's like the fact that this is happening is actually exciting him. It's less of a scared thing and more of a like, this is what I was hoping would happen, right?
I think. Go ahead.
listen up.
Yes, sir.
I do not think it is a good idea for us to split up or to be separated
Absolutely not.
intentionally.
No.
I need
never.
to get something. You two, come with me. Before we start figuring out where Miss Friesen is, come with me. And I start walking, expecting that the two of you are following me. And I'm heading toward my room.
Yeah, Barrick is totally doing that, but he's got the camera on his shoulder and very much Blair Witch Project, like recording every step in the shaky cam that he can.
When we get to the door, I
Yep.
tell the two of you, wait here. And I open the door and I close it most of the way. I don't quite latch it, but I just close it most of the way. I head over to the bed. I reach under the bed, grab my duffel bag, lift it up onto the bunk, open it, reach inside, reaching down near the bottom till I find what I'm looking for. And I tuck it into the waistband of my pants and I turn around and head back.
On your bed, before you grab what is in your duffel bag, you see this book, this children's book. And on the front, you see the people who come after you on the front.
I find it curious that there is a book in my room where there was not one before. But I don't think that the book, its cover or its contents would interest me at all. I continue with my actions and I grab the book though. And as I head out back to the hall where these two, where I left them, I shut the door behind me. I reach over and hand the book to Ezra. I assume this belongs to you. I don't know why it's in my room. And if you were in my room, I'd appreciate it if you not go into my quarters where you were not invited. And I hand the book to you, Ezra.
Ezra looks at the book and then looks up at you and is like, do you even know my name? Like, I mean, you're accusing me of going into your room and putting, and then he looks at the book. Wait. And is this the same book that he saw Carol reading before?
Yes.
And he
yes, it
stops
is.
and he says, so first thing, I'm Ezra. Nice to meet you both. Secondly, I saw Carol reading this book in the kitchen before the lights went out and she disappeared. And then he immediately, almost without thinking, just opens it and flips to the first page.
As the words are coming out of my mouth as you open this. Well, then I suggest you don't read it.
And you see the first page like it was before. But you turn the page and there is more. There is a second page. And it has this.
Oh, Jesus. And
But the rest of the book is empty.
Yeah, Ezra would turn to show the other two, both the first and the second pages of this book. And then you just say, and the rest of it's blank.
Well, so? It looks like some kind of damn children's book.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was getting texts on my phone from an unknown number saying that somebody wanted to play a game. They said that Noon was very upset. Like Noon maybe is a person's name, I don't know, but something's going on, and there's a lot of strange shit happening, and Miss Friesen's gone.
Well, we're going to find her.
We're just gonna jump quickly to Carol. Carol, you felt like you've been hit by a truck. You were just aching all over, laying there. Do you attempt to get up? What do you do?
So is the floor you said the floor was squishy?
It was, yeah, very kind of squishy, spongy, and almost like has this oily sheen to it.
Yeah, so she'd sit back on her heels a little bit and kind of reach out to see if she can touch a wall or something around her before she gets up.
The only thing you can get your hands on, your right hand kind of travels along the floor slowly, and it kind of dips down. And you see immediately your fingers are touched with this gross liquid, and you can see that you can feel that you have reached into a hole. And it's filled with this slime, this ichor, and you can feel what feels to be hair just kind of caressing over your hand. Millions and millions of strands.
Ew. I think she would, at this point, she would grab her hand back as quick as possible and would kind of fling herself backwards to get away from whatever it was that she just touched.
And when you look at your hand, you see some of this black, and it is hair. It's this long, black, stringy hair that has kind of not attached itself, but just has kind of stuck to your hand because of this ichor, this kind of sticky ichor. And you just kind of pull it out and you look at it, and your eyes are open at this point, and you get a chance to see where you are as you kind of shuffle back. You're in what looks to be a room. There's a couple of lamps that seem to be on, and old furniture that is nowhere near the pristine quality that the upstairs furniture is. This one is old, but it looks like it's been well used. This ichor, this slime, this oil just kind of coating over everything. And then you hear,
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are up above.
and it just suddenly stops.
Can I tell where it's coming from, or does it sound like it's coming from everywhere?
It sounds to be like it's coming from the room behind you. Or sorry, it sounds like it's coming from behind you, and when you kind of look, you see this door. And you can see that this door is bolted, it's locked, and there's a chain going across the front.
On my side.
Yes. And upon further looking around, you see that there's a hole above you in the ceiling. And as you kind of shift, you see your kitchen. You see that this room was underneath your kitchen.
So Carol, I'd be kind of not even thinking about it, but I am wiping my hand off on my clothing as I'm looking around the room, looking for anything to help me. I'm a little bit, I guess, comforted, not really the word I'm looking for, but comforted to see all the locks on the door, because whatever's out there, I do not want it to come in. Is there a chair or anything in this room that I could maybe try to get back up?
Absolutely. There's chairs, there's couches, tables. This looks to be maybe a kind of a living room, a pretty big living room at that. And it's only about 5 and probably about 6 feet to the ceiling.
Yeah, so I would drag a table to underneath the hole, and then I would put a chair up on top of the table. And I'm basically trying to make myself like a makeshift ladder to get back up. See if I can get out of that hole.
Yeah, you can do so easily. It's not that much of a issue to get back up. And so you do. Do you call out? Do you say anything, or do you just kind of climb up?
I'm just gonna climb up.
And then we're just going to jump quickly to the three of you. Where are you going? What are you, where are you looking for Carol during this time?
Once we were done at my room, I would have suggested that the reporter lead the way.
Yeah. And he looks at you and he says, all right, fine. Follow me. And he has his camera out, and he obviously starts heading back toward the kitchen because that's where Carol vanished. So he wants to try to get there and sort of see if he can piece together any sort of clues or anything that might kind of give where she might be. But at this, I don't know how far along she would be toward moving upward. But as they come around the corner toward the kitchen, right? They're
and as you
kind of sweeping each room.
Yeah. And as you kind of come around into the kitchen, you see where there was once beautiful hardwood floor. It's still there, but there's this huge hole right in the middle of this kitchen. And the sides look like they've been rotted. There's just these blooms of rot and decay on the sides of this hole. And just as you guys are turning the corner and kind of approaching, at this point is when Carol kind of climbs out.
I think Ezra would kind of tuck the book into a pocket of his hoodie, and then he would immediately kind of rush over to her and kind of reach out with his long arms to try and help her out. Be like, Miss Friesen, here, grab my hands. Even though he's not the strongest of the group by any means.
And Carol would be so relieved to actually see you that she would definitely reach out to have you help her. Probably with the hand that's covered in the goop. That's the one. And she's like, oh my God. Did you hear the singing?
You guys wouldn't have heard anything.
That is absolutely horrifying and fascinating all at the same time. We thought you were gone, and now you're here in this hole. Where'd you come from?
I have no idea. It is so disgusting down there.
He
But
like
you-
peeks his head in the hole. Like, that can't be that deep in there, can it? No.
I'm like already peering in right next to you, and you just hear the sound of the flask unscrewing. And
He holds out. This is the first time he's been holding up a good front up until now, but he like holds out a hand.
without even looking at you, as he finishes taking a pull, he just reaches over and hands it to you. It's a good quality, strong bourbon.
That is smooth. Thank you very much. That was nice.
I don't even say a word. I just take it back from you.
Takes the edge off. Now, what the hell are we gonna do about this?
Miss Friesen, what happened after the lights went off? I mean, how did you end up down there? Do you remember?
No, I just felt like I just got hit by a truck, and woke up in this. And she shudders. She can't even talk about it. It's so disgusting. She's like, and then there was the singing. The singing. You guys didn't hear the singing?
We didn't hear any singing. No.
No, can't say that I heard that.
What is going on?
Was it the same voice that was coming from my phone? He kind of points at himself with this hand, and he realizes, oh, it's covered in eldritch snot, and so he kind of like wipes it off on his hoodie, like, oh god, this is disgusting. But did it sound like the same voice that came from my phone?
Yeah, it did.
Fuck. What does that mean?
I don't know. It's your phone.
Well, yeah, my phone doesn't normally start counting in the voice of a child. And then he kind of glances over to you, Reginald, and Barrett.
It means we're dealing with more than just a normal mansion, lad. That's exactly what it means.
Well, yeah, I got that much.
But the
Stop
thing
smiling,
is,
it's fuck.
okay, I'm sorry. That's it's uncalled for. I'll try to be a little less enthusiastic. How about this? I'm scared.
There you go. You look like an investigative
There.
reporter now.
I'm going to be just straight faced for the whole rest of the thing. Now, here's what we need to do. That book. You said that she read that, and then all this started. Yeah.
And Ezra would just wordlessly pull out the book.
Don't. I
Show
don't want to look at it.
Show it to him, or show it to her.
Nope.
This is the same book that you found before, right?
Yeah, there's nothing in the book. It was blank.
There's nothing in the book.
I
Yeah,
mean,
the pages were all blank.
There's something on the first 2 pages now. We saw. And he looks at the other two. We saw. There's something on the first page and the second page.
Yeah, there's something.
Let me see that. And I reach out to take the book from you.
Ezra kind of like hesitates for a moment, then he just lets you take it.
I just kind of hold it and turn it over, look at the back, look at the front. It's some kind of a children's book. And you're suggesting this has something to do with whatever that is. And I just kind of open it and flip and see that, well, I don't know, I just open it.
So you open it and you see the 2 pages that were were shown. And as you're kind of flipping through it, you almost miss it, but there is one more page. There is a third one that you see.
Thought you said there were only 2 pages, son.
There were only 2 pages, man.
Whoop. What's this then? Didn't you say something about a noon?
Yeah. Noon wants to play a game. Or no, Noon doesn't like it when you're rude, I think. That was one of the texts I got.
Noon needs people who come after you. And I think I would turn the book and kind of show them the page as I say that.
Here's a crazy thought. We should leave. Let's just go or call the police. Does anyone else have a phone? Mine's destroyed. I think yours is pretty busted up, Miss Friesen. Does anybody have a phone?
He reaches into his dusty jacket and he pulls out a phone and starts sliding on the glass. And look, I can call my station and see if they can bring anybody here.
Wait, your station is in like your news station?
I could, or we could try to. What good? Listen, my question to you: what good is it going to do to bring the police to here?
They can figure out what the fuck is going on. Isn't that their job?
There's a hole here, Ezra. That's
right.
all it is.
Full of this stuff, and he kind of gestures to the weird goop on his hoodie. Full of this stuff. This is not normal. These things don't happen normally.
And do you think that cops are going to be able to handle that?
Better than we are, except for maybe G.I. Joe over here, and he kind of nods at you, Reginald.
Listen, this, and I think I gotta agree with the reporter here. This is not something you want to call police on, because when the police come and they see something like this, they call the government, and the government usually sends the army. Guess what? I'm the army. You don't want the army here for something like this.
That seems a little extreme. It seems like a pretty big jump from point A to point B to point army. You see what I mean?
No, he's actually pretty much right. Like that's pretty normal, actually.
I find that hard to believe.
It
Well,
goes.
what do you suggest we do? You suggest that we bring more cameras here? How's that going to help anything?
Well, at least I could look. No, I'm just saying you want to call somebody. You want to have somebody know where we are.
I think we should leave and then call somebody.
I think we should too, but
Are you using your eyes and your ears? And I'm
And
looking
my
at both
nose.
of you.
yes.
That first voice we heard came from your phone,
Right?
even after you smashed it.
Sure.
And then Miss Friesen here pulled out her phone, shed some light, and then it immediately smashed and she went into some sort of oblivion and wound up here under the kitchen. God knows how. I would just assume, given these signs, and I would have thought your investigation would conclude similar, that this is not the best course of action.
Barrick slides the phone back into his pocket.
I would consider that almost to be, let's just assume communications have been compromised by the enemy.
I like the way you think. So,
I know. We should leave.
And he. Oh no.
Expecting someone else, Miss Friesen?
No,
Pass.
I'm not getting that. I am not.
That was. I thought.
Everybody, we stay together. And you would see, for the first time, as I reach into my back belt, and you see me pull out a revolver.
Fuck.
Stay with me. We're going to get the door. And I'm going to lead the way as I walk towards the door.
That's awesome. I feel like Barrick kind of picking up on your motives, sees this, and he hoists the camera up on, like up on a shoulder, but at the same time, is there an item in the kitchen, Megan, that he could potentially pick up as a weapon, preferably something blunt? Knives.
There's probably like a lot of like kitchen utensils. I'm sure there's like kind of like a meat tenderizer.
Okay, yeah, perfect. What?
Frying pan.
Oh yeah, no, totally frying pan. Right? Like he's like,
Where the fuck is the cast iron in this damn place?
he's like opening up the cabinets unabashedly, and he's holding the camera because he doesn't want to set it down, at least for the time being, in the kitchen, right? Because kitchen is ground zero. And so he like grabs the frying pan. I think maybe he grabs a single kitchen knife and like tucks it somewhere in the jacket, and then like gingerly following behind I just imagine this big burly dude with like a frying pan the size of his hand, like
I'm ready when you are, sir.
And
Police, open up!
Oh, thank God.
Fuck Ezra, what the hell?
Oh, yeah, sure.
No.
I called him with my broken-ass phone.
Shh. Quiet.
Why? Hey, we need some help.
Listen here, you piece of shit.
Goddamn
You
mouth.
listen, you piece of shit, you investigative reporter. You can kiss my ass.
Listen.
Hey, help!
Hey.
Help! There's a sinkhole or some shit in here.
Listen. Do you give me permission to beat the shit out of this kid?
Hey, I'd like to see you try and pulls out the pocket knife from his pocket and kind of points it at you with a shaking hand.
I will
Fuck you,
break your
Eric.
break your hand off.
Him up. And I'm going
But
to
he-
move away from them.
I'm gonna
and
come in
move
here.
toward
There's
the
a
door.
guy with a fucking gun.
And I would like to try and just subdue him. Not hurt him, but subdue him with my girth. Like, just bear hug the shit out of him to the point where he's, like, suffocating.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay? Like, just get him from, just, and hold. And just hold until he stops.
No, don't fucking
I
make it
mean,
worse.
as soon as
No.
this strange man comes at him, Ezra's gonna try and stab him with the pocket knife.
Come here, you.
No.
Don't touch me.
Wiggly worm, come here.
And I'm gonna try and like either knock him out or restrain him somehow, if possible. What do I need to do for that, please?
You could do a strength check, and you can roll with effort. Effort, and I think it'll be probably a basic.
Basic effort? Okay, roll with effort. Okay. Well, good.
Yes,
Do
you're
I
gonna
roll
roll a
some-
d20 and see if you. Yeah.
A D20 would that be like dex or anything or effort?
Strength.
So-
Yeah.
I roll
So
a
it'll-
d20. I got a 19 on the die, plus two,
Yeah.
plus
Yeah.
3 on plus 3 on the effort die. So,
Okay.
yeah, 23.
I got a 5.
Yeah. So
Subdued.
Beric's like, you shut up. You will shut up and you will not say a word. Yeah?
Police, you will open this door right now.
Good boy.
Why the fuck are we not?
Listen. I don't like the police. I never like them. I just work alongside them.
Do you know how fucking creepy it is to hear you say that when you're this close to my face?
Yeah, I know that. I understand that. But if you don't want me to get closer to you,
Oh God.
I very, very well think you should probably listen to me. I'm gonna let go. And if you become a little squiggly worm again, I'll probably end up having to snap your neck, and I don't want to have to kill someone today.
What the fuck? Miss Frieza, did you check this guy's background references? Who the fuck are you?
Shh! I will give you an elbow to the temple.
Is there any kind of like windows next to the door, or like a window that can have a view to the door?
There are kind of frosted windows, just the little tiny ones on each side, and you can see that there is a figure kind of standing there, kind of trying. You can see that now he's trying to like put his hands up and try and see through this frosted glass.
I'm going to. So I'm imagining that the door, as I'm looking at the doorknob's on the right-hand side. Is that accurate?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to switch the revolver to my left hand, and I'm going to open the door and just kind of stand there, and I'm going to use my left foot to kind of block the door in case anybody tries to force their way in. Let it open maybe about a foot as I just kind of lean a little bit. Yes?
Well, it's about goddamn time you opened the door. Didn't want to have to knock down this. And you can see there's this young cop just kind of standing on the other side, and he's kind of looking a bit flustered. You, as kind of a trained military person, can immediately see that this guy's pretty green. Like, he's pretty young, but he's kind of looking around, and he kind of looks you up and down, and, you the owner of this house?
It's a big house. It takes a while to get to the door. And I'm kind of deliberately standing a little more at attention and just exuding that, for the last 20 years, that sense of authority that I'm used to being listened to. It's a big house, son. It takes a little bit to get to the door. You mind if I ask what brought you here tonight?
We got a noise complaint. Do you mind if I just step in for a bit? It's raining cats and dogs out here.
Of course, officer, I see no reason, and I'm speaking just a little bit louder so that the others can hear me. I see no reason to not allow an officer of the law inside. And as I step aside to let the door open, I slide the pistol back into my waistband, tucking it in as far as I can with my left hand, and open the door enough for him to come in, keeping my back away from him.
And he kind of steps in, and does he see some sort of scene between Ezra and Barrick as he kind of steps in?
The kitchen and the foyer, are pretty close to each other, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I imagine that, yeah, it is, but it's the aftermath, right? It's the aftermath. And I imagine that, Ezra, for lack of better terms, isn't knocked completely unconscious, but you've definitely been, dazed, and I'm, laying you in a chair,
shh, it's all right now. It's good. Good, just rest.
Sorry, officer. I'm sorry. We had a little bit too much fun. This one here especially. Am I right? That gay.
And I think you just hear this sort of daze, fucking investigate my.
No, listen. He's
Is
not a
he
little
all
too
right?
much fun. Yeah, no, he's great. He's absolutely fine.
No, sir.
I pull out my
and he
flask.
just kind of puts his hand in your face, Barrick, and he's looking right at you, Ezra. Are you okay, sir?
No, this fucking asshole my fucking head, and he just kind of holds his head for a second, trying to get his bearings.
Officer, and I've pulled my flask out. It's a cold, rainy night, and we may have been imbibing a little too much, and well, the kid here doesn't seem to hold his liquor as well as some of us more seasoned drinkers.
I'm into that.
Can you make a charisma check, please?
I'm new to ICRPG. Is there a way that I could help him in this endeavor?
I'm not sure. Yes. So if you help, it'll make the room DC of what I said easy.
Okay, sweet. So,
So you just
however
roll
you
a-
would like
yeah.
to, however you would like to, Jake. I'll just roll with you, and like we'll make something up. That
I think you would actually see, as I'm saying this and seeing that
Yeah.
you're kind of catching on,
Yeah.
you would actually see, you'd see Reginald kind of loosen up just a little bit as he says, yeah, I'm telling you, that kid cannot hold his liquor at all. And I got an 11 on the dice. I have no modifiers.
And he kind of looks at you and he just kind of nods, and like this slow grin kind of creeps across his face, and he just kind of, he goes over to Ezra and he just kind of slaps him on the back, and
Jesus.
I know what you're going through. It's all right. Just a couple more years and you'll be a pro. And he
I'm
kind
on
of like,
25. What the fuck is going on right now?
And while the cop is actually a little bit distracted with Ezra, Carol is kind of moving the mat in front of the kitchen sink over the hole in the floor.
okay. Can you make me a dex check, please?
Don't fall in the hole.
I rolled a nat 20. I have no modifiers.
So you're able to, well, while the cop is kind of busy, you kind of put this tarp or mat, and it covers the hole pretty well. And he just kind of looks around. He says, all right. Well, seems like everything is more under control here, but we did get a noise complaint, and so I'm just gonna have to ask you guys just to keep it down.
We'll do that, son. You do your best to stay dry out there and be safe.
And he just kind of chuckles, and he turns to leave. And suddenly this kind of it almost sounds like organ music comes from seemingly the hole that you've covered up. And he kind of stops, and he kind of cocks his head a little bit. And he kind of turns around and he kind of half grins. He says, I hope I'm not being too presumptuous, but I'm kind of a fan of old instruments. I couldn't help but hear this organ. Do you mind if I see it?
Carol looks, a little bit worried now. She looks towards Reginald, and she's like,
Officer, you got a partner out there that's gonna be worried you're in here checking out our organ?
Oh, that old fart? No. He's probably sitting in there reading his magazines. Please, it would only take 1 second. I really don't mean to intrude.
As he's doing this, Barrick, having seen to Ezra, takes a step back a little further, kind of slyly peeks his head into the kitchen to see what the fuck that noise was, and to check on Carol, make sure she hasn't fallen back through the hole. Everything okay in here? Yeah? Good.
and she kind of wordlessly, most of the words, get him out of here.
Well, if you're sure he ain't gonna be too worried about you, son. To the officer.
No. Please, it would only just take a few moments. And he kind of holds out his phone. He says, I just want to take a picture.
Oh, absolutely. And I closed the door, positioning myself behind the officer. And at the same moment that the door latches closed, I'm going to pistol whip him from behind and try to knock him out.
All right. Make a strength roll with weapon effort.
Ooh. I've got a 2 in strength and a 1. So I rolled the weapon, the D6?
Yes.
All right, here we go. That is, all right, 12 plus 2 is 14, plus 1 on the die is 15, plus 1 that I took in weapon effort. So that is 16 total.
Okay. And then roll your weapon.
That's with the weapon effort. Or is that a damage die that you need?
That's a damage die, yes.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
Then it's 2 on the damage, it's 14 on the effort roll. Or the total roll. Sorry.
Okay, so you kind of daze him a little bit, and he's like, what the you do make the thing, and he kind of like stumbles, and he just looks a little bit dazed, and he kind of starts to turn towards you, Reginald.
How far is it from him to where the hole's covered up in the kitchen?
It's about 10 feet.
I've already committed to this. As soon as he starts turning towards me, I'm just going to rush him like a football lineman and force him right to the edge of that, kind of trying to knock him backwards onto the mat where Carol's covered the hole. To knock him down into the kitchen.
Make another strength check, please.
And on the die, plus 2 for strength, that's a 12.
So you're just able to kind of push him. He's kind of still a bit dazed from this. And as he kind of steps onto the carpet where there is no floor, he kind of falls through. And he lands on his back on the floor. And you can hear him. What the fuck was that? And he's just kind of, and you can see him. Do you guys look kind of over the edge?
Oh, I'm looking down at him.
And you
Barrick
can see
is also
him.
like, what just happened? But I support this. But what just happened?
Carol is not looking at all. She knows what's down there. She's kind of covering her eyes at this moment.
Question: could Ezra have recovered enough to try and bolt for the door while this is going on, while they're staring down into the hole? Is it possible for him to like just run for the front door like as quickly as he can, given his state? He is probably barely cognizant, but he's just running as fast as he can to get the fuck out of this place.
Yep, you can, definitely. Just
Yeah, he's
run.
gonna bolt as soon as he sort of comes to and realizes that nobody's really paying attention to him. They're looking at the hole or the mat covered hole. He just kind of gets it. It's like fuck, and he just starts running towards the front door.
And you see this officer, he's starting to try to get up. But Reginald and Barrick, you see something moving down there with him. These long tendrils. And you see that upon closer look, you see that this is actually clumps of this long hair kind of snaking out of various holes in this floor. And you just see it begin to start wrapping itself around his wrists, around his ankles and slowly around his neck. And he begins to freak out, and he begins to scream. He's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And it's cut short as the hair pulls him. Body parts just ripping off of him. His arms, his legs, his head.
As this happens, Reginald takes a swig from his flask, hands it over to Barrick. Has Ezra made it to the door or out the door, or?
Ezra's out the door, yeah. So Ezra, we're gonna jump to you just briefly. I can assume you're just running full tilt.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's still in his socks and stuff. He doesn't even care. It's probably wet and disgusting and rainy. He's just flailing through the rain as fast as he can to get away from this nightmare.
You suddenly feel a weight on you. Just all of a sudden. And I need you to make a strength check, please.
Oh boy. Had such great luck with those. Well, it's a little better. That is a 13 total.
You fall with this weight suddenly pinning you. And you see, and as you look up, you see that it looks like you. Except your skin is pale. Your eyes are black orbs. And this version of you just grabs your head and just begins slamming it against the floor or the ground again and again and again, saying, Noon doesn't like it when you leave. Noon doesn't like it when you leave. And just over and over again. And then we're going to jump to Reginald. Reginald, do you turn to look at the door?
As I hand the flask to Barrick, I'm already pulling the pistol out of my waistband and turning to go after Ezra to bring him. My intention, my thought is to bring him back, but I'm also thinking if there's a partner out in this police car, he's got to be dealt with too. And so, yes, I turn, heading for the door and looking out.
And as you turn, you see a figure standing in the door. But it is not Ezra. In fact, it looks like you. With this ashen skin and actually in your army, your military uniform. And it just kind of looks at you and it cocks its head to the side. And it kind of comes up to you. And you feel this pain in your gut. And you look down and you see that the version of you has stabbed you in the stomach. Noon says that you should play nice. Play nice. And every syllable, he's just pulling it out and stabbing, pulling it out and stabbing, pulling it out and stabbing again and again, over and over again. And then the lights go out. And Ezra, you lose consciousness after a while. After being hit in the head over and over again. And when the lights turn on you suddenly find yourselves in a circle, standing, facing each other in the kitchen, not around the hole, but kind of beside it. Ezra, you feel fine, as do you, Reginald. You look down, there's nothing on your abdomen. And in the center of this circle is the book, opened to a new page that has appeared. And that is where we are going to end our session today.
Again, I simultaneously love you and hate you. I legitimately have not been this freaked out in a game. Since the last time I played in one of your games.
There was a point in this game where I lost the ability to character. Okay, I was just like, I can't even play Barrick because I'm too freaked out by this game. So I'm just gonna be Chad being freaked out by these situations.
All right. Thank
Megan,
you.
You look like I caught you off guard when I attacked the police officer.
Yeah, you did. I did not expect that to happen at all.
It's fucking insane.
Welcome to Command Sergeant Major Reginald T. Cherry.
Apparently. Emphasis on the unstable.
Those Vietnam flashbacks.
Wow.
I'm totally firing my agent who helped me find these people.
Seriously, right? Background checks. Background checks.
Yeah, this is... No, the LinkedIns that we gave you were all falsified.
Apparently.
None of us match our profile pictures at all.
None of us match our profile pictures. We are much cleaner, and it's like 5 or 6 years before this.
All right, so yeah, thanks everyone, and everyone who was watching and everyone who's playing. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was satisfied your need for creepiness. We're just gonna do quick introductions, and then I have one announcement, and then I'll leave you guys for the night. So we'll just start with Karen.
Hi, I'm Karen. I'm completely freaked out right now, legit scared. That was awesome. I was playing Carol Friesen. She's a paramedic. Just new to this city. Bought this beautiful house, cheap deal. Regretting every single moment of it now. Thank you, Megan. This was amazing. You guys are amazing.
Awesome. Thank you for playing. And then Chad.
Hi guys, my name is Chad, and I was playing a pretty shit news reporter by the name of Barrick Barton, and I had no idea really the intention that I was going to go with him, but I love how he ended. This was an awesome game, Megan. After playing with you for so long, I expect nothing but the best, and you bring the best out of me every time. So this is awesome. Thank you so much. I'm thoroughly freaked out. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight, and I haven't had sleep in like 2 days, so that's bad. Okay, no bueno. Thanks.
I do what I can.
Yeah.
Jason.
Hello. I am Jason Osorio with the small YouTube channel Concepts and Characters, playing Ezra Cleve, who I feel like was the only person who reacted realistically to all this shit. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, you know, he's in his late 20s. He's a teacher's assistant at a local community college for Professor Ivan Gaskins, who teaches history. He was sent to basically live in this old place, this old mansion, to complete the college courses, the college credits he needed to graduate. And he is also regretting every single second of what he has experienced so far. Yes, he does hate his professor, Karen, absolutely at this point. But yeah, Megan, this was fantastic and terrifying. And I'm really excited about the fact that I get to go to bed right after this. So that should be a fun exercise. But can't wait for the next session for sure.
And finally, Jake.
Everybody, I'm Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, also known as MTD. You can find me on Twitter at MTD_Jake. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube at twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain or youtube.com/Mini Terrain Domain. And 9 times out of 10, if you tune into a Mini Terrain Domain show, you're going to see Megan there. Megan is pretty much a mainstay on the channel now. Megan plays in our Monday night Cult of Personality campaign, moving to Sunday night soon, and was just in the Bastards of Bastion that wrapped last Sunday. I do miniature terrain building, dice towers, painting miniatures, basically tabletop terrain crafting, and I also run a ton of games. And if you check out the channel, particularly the Twitch channel, coming up next month is a new series called Review and Play, where I will be reviewing new systems and inviting people from the community from Twitter, Twitch, AbTab to play alongside as we learn a new system. And after the session or sessions, we review the game. So, and coming up in September will be Syntheside from Willpower Games. So that's me.
Awesome. Thanks again, everyone. I had a blast. It's always I love horror, so it's always so much fun to play it. And just one announcement from me: the Ravage Wasteland of Cryfoth is available on Drive-Thru RPG as a PDF. So if you're interested, check it out. The link is in kind of the description below. It'd be really great if you could help us out, and I think I like it, so that's good. So yeah, thanks again, everyone. Thanks everyone for watching, and see you next time. All right, leave character. Yep, there will be. Yeah. So, Chad, Jake, and Karen, you guys have all been in my horror games, but Jason, this is your first foray into